Hey guys, welcome to today's video. I'm Sarah. This is No BS Beauty. I apologize for missing the last few days. Before my mom found out she had cancer, she had adopted 4 rescue dogs, and they had all 4 of them had lived up until about 3 years ago, and one of them died, then another one died, and then finally we were down to one last rescue dog, and at 16 years old, she passed away. I think it was Wednesday. So anyway, so it was a tough day because it felt like kind of the last little part of my mom's legacy of rescuing dogs, and things kind of ended that day. And but she had a pretty good life, and now I know she's up there with my mom and her brothers and sisters. And anyway, so it was a tough day, tough couple of days. She got sick, and thought we could save her, but it just obviously it wasn't meant to be. So, but she's not suffering or anything like that, and she's in a better place. So, okay. So anyway, so rescue dogs or cats or animals, rescue them. Okay, so today I thought I'd just do a little reminder because I don't think it gets much attention. I'm going to talk about it again. Ultraviolet, along with there's other brands now. I just got an article this morning that there were a couple other brands that were found to be involved in this sunscreen scandal, which may or may not be these brands' fault, may have been related to a testing lab. At this point, more information still has to come out, but I thought I would remind you, Ultraviolet is out there really pushing their ads and videos. So if you're seeing a lot of sudden reviews or videos discussing Ultraviolet, just be aware. Some of these are not marked as ads. I am not totally certain whether these people are spontaneously like, hey, let's rally around a sunscreen brand that didn't really actually make their sunscreen, and one of their sunscreen is found to have an SPF of 4. Let's rally around them because they're great. I'm not exactly sure that these YouTubers or Instagrammers are suddenly like, just decide like, hey, let's make a video about how great they are. I have a feeling it's more coordinated than that. And I mean, I don't know for a fact, but because technically some of these should be marked as paid ads. And so I can't say for certain that they're totally not following the law or that they are paid ads. I'm not sure. But it seems too coincidental, the timing of a lot of them coming out. So, yeah, so don't trust a brand just because influencers are out there pushing them. Sunscreen is more than just a skincare product. It is a tool, it's a chemical, and it is a drug. It's meant to prevent skin cancer. And when a company that only makes sunscreen is found to have one of their sunscreens, actually a couple of their sunscreens, they're saying it's SPF 50, but it ends up being SPF 4, and that's their only thing is making sunscreens, and they're not actually making them themselves. They're white labeled, manufactured, and that their main thing is sunscreens, and they don't have an actual reputable sunscreen. I just wouldn't buy anything else from them. They are meant to prevent skin cancer. There is so many other options out there for sunscreen. I just think it's not worth risking it when one of these was way, way off. And furthermore, I don't like the way they responded to this. There's ways to respond to a scandal like this and come out looking good. For example, the K-Beauty sunscreen scandal, which happened, I don't know, 5 years ago. Purito, very apologetic. Claire's, apologetic. Then there was one brand that wasn't very apologetic and came after other people for mentioning their sunscreen was not a real sunscreen. That brand was Keep Cool. Anybody seen Keep Cool lately? I haven't either. Claire's, Purito, others, they're around. Keep Cool, they did not handle the scandal well, and because of that, I don't think they exist anymore that I know of, although if you look on eBay, some people might be selling some of their really, really old stuff. I mean, it's got to be at least 5 years old. And Ultraviolet responded in a similar manner to Keep Cool. Instead of being apologetic, hey, let's look into this, they actually doubled down and released mini bottles of these products. So that was a red flag. And then they came after the third-party tester Choice in Australia. They came after them, calling them out, saying, oh, something's wrong with them because we know ours is, ours is a wonderful sunscreen. You did something wrong. It's not us. And they came after anybody that mentioned the scandal. My video, when I mentioned, hey, FYI, if you're using ultraviolet, FYI, be aware something's going on, something weird. And I got many nasty things in comments and a lot of more nasty things, and I'm not going to talk about those. But I wouldn't necessarily say that they're done by the brand themselves or a group around them, or I have no idea who's responsible for some of this, but it was definitely very vile the way they handled this. And to me, a red flag in ultraviolet was when they came out with their bronzing drops. They released a bronzing drop. So it was a bronzer with a little bit of sunscreen. This isn't the specific one, but I couldn't find it. My house is a mess because of the remodel. Bronzing drop. So take the dropper, mix it in with your moisturizer, and then you get sunscreen. That's not how sunscreen works. You can mix a bronzer in with your moisturizer. That's wonderful. Do that. But you can't mix a sunscreen with a bronzer into a moisturizer and have it give you the same protection. So that was my red flag. This company, they have no idea what they're talking about. I don't know how this is possible, that they can be making sunscreens that are meant to be mixed with other products and think they know what they're talking about. Drunk Elephant did the same thing, but Drunk Elephant is not a sunscreen company. So this is a little different. Hang on, I will get you water. Can you wait 1 minute? Yes, good boy. Give me 1 minute. So that's another red flag to me. And then a couple months later, this whole story breaks. Choice is a independent company that kind of similar in the U.S. to Consumer Reports that goes and does testing of consumer goods. They tested a bunch of sunscreens. I think they tested 20, and out of 20 mineral sunscreens, 16 of them failed, some of them failing miserably. The list is growing of how many of these are impacted, and it may not necessarily even be the sunscreen's fault. It may have been the testing factory, Princeton Consumer Testing, I want to say, or Princeton Consumer Research. It could have been something involving them, and maybe Ultraviolet actually did believe that their sunscreen was SPF 50, but I don't know, it's always better to question yourself and verify before you go out slamming everybody else. So the way they handle it was pretty bad, and it's a kind of a huge issue. Now to see how these influencers coming out talking about how great this brand is, it's a red flag in my opinion. It seems coordinated. I don't know if it is or not, but it definitely seems to be something coordinated. And when it's a company and their thing is sunscreen and they're not making it right, it's at least a good idea to go with something else. In the meantime, go with a different brand, not Ultraviolet or not Naked Fridays, and not some of these other brands that are on this list that seems to be growing. So, yeah. It's interesting that they really came out on the attack. So some of the comments are, they initially said the SPF had fallen from 50 plus, which they said was around 60, to 4 because of decanting the product. That was their initial response, was you decanted it. That's not an accurate test. Then they tried to discredit Choice, which is the nonprofit consumer protection agency. And then they went around and attacked everybody else reporting the news. So there was a good comment on here. I just wanted to find it, but yeah. So anyway, there was a really good comment. So yeah, so Wild Child is another white labeled brand. So it's interesting. So one person says sunscreen is a drug. I rely on it for my health, to protect my scalp from cancer. There's so many options. There's no reason to mess around with something that may or may not be good enough, especially if you live somewhere where it's very sunny, like Australia, or somewhere where you get a lot of sun, like Arizona, California, things like that. It's just not worth chancing it. And there's just a lot of other great ones out there. And if you're open to chemical sunscreens, La Roche-Posay, they have a lot of research. They've invented a lot of filters. I tend to trust them, and Bioderm are a couple brands right off the bat that I pretty much trust almost implicitly. No brand is totally perfect when it comes to sunscreens because it's so complicated, but It's just not worth messing around. Maybe, hopefully soon we'll find out. They've sent these off to private labs, so maybe we'll find out soon more information. But Crave Beauty has also used this testing lab, so if you're using Crave, be cautious about that. There's a Medicaid sunscreen on that list as well. It just seems to be growing, so if you're using any of these, do some digging on them and maybe use something else for a little bit. But anyway, don't be bought and sold. Don't be fooled right now. Just wait the time. It's got to happen soon when they come out with these results, because it started, what, 3 months ago, 2 months ago? So it should have come out soon. And if indeed these sunscreens are all up to snuff and things are great, then go back to using them. But it's not worth risking, especially if you have hyperpigmentation, melasma, if you're on certain medications. Certain medications can make your skin much more susceptible to sunburn and sun damage. If you have babies, it's just not worth the risk taking it. So, yeah, so those are kind of my thoughts on it. And it's not just ultraviolet. And so keep that in mind. It's several brands. It may be the white label manufacturer. It might be the testing labs. Maybe this brand actually did solidly believe that their product was SPF 61, but something doesn't seem right, doesn't add up. They're also posting more things on Instagram, and I don't know. Maybe we'll find out it was the testing lab and they did believe this, but if your only product is sunscreen, why don't you send it to a couple testing labs? I know they're not like on the store like at McDonald's are, but there's more than one. And if that's the only product you're going to sell, why not send it to multiple testing labs? I don't know. And put all your eggs in one basket seems like a bad idea, but I guess we'll see. We'll come to see what happens with all this. But anyway, leave your thoughts below. Love hearing from you guys. And yeah, let everyone know, because it's not being talked about a lot. And I don't want people to be fooled into buying something that ends up being a SPF 4 and, burning themselves. So anyway, yeah. Anyway, thanks so much. I will see you guys more tomorrow. Okay. Bye, guys.